was a beast! Ah!
Hello and welcome to another episode of Not the Bees, the Nicolas Cage filmography podcast. I'm Megs.
And I'm Elizabeth.
And this week we are continuing on our 4-part journey of watching Spider-Noir, Amazon's new TV show starring Nicolas Cage as Spider-Man set in 1940s. Again, major spoilers are ahead, so if you've not seen the show, maybe stop here until you have. We're beginning on episode 3, where Ben, Janet, and Robbie are discussing the Silvermane case in Ben's office when Robbie looks at the photo of Marco's army unit and realizes that one of the men is Lonnie, the man that told him where to find Addison's wife, and he leaves to go and find out more. Ben asks Janet to check if they were all POWs. Lonnie is black, and the units were segregated. They couldn't have served together. They shouldn't all be in the same photo together. Just then, Silvermane charges through the door looking for Ben. He says he has a job. He wants Ben to investigate who paid Addison to burn down his house and tipped off the feds about his shipment at the docks. He thinks he has a rat, and he thinks it's Marco. As he leaves, he says that people lie, only money tells the truth. Ben scrutinizes the cash that Silvermane paid his retainer with, and it turns out he marks his bills. He checks one of the bills Kat paid them with, and sure enough, it's also marked by Silvermane. Ben goes to a hospital and poses as a detective to speak to the cops that were injured at the docks. He tries to get info on who sent them there. The commander tells him the mayor gave the order. Across town in the slums, Robbie is looking for Lonnie, and the police show up and start throwing people around. Lonnie comes out into the street, and the cops go for him. Robbie is furiously taking photos. A cop goes to hit Lonnie with a baton, and it snaps across his forearm. His body starts to change. Then Marco also steps out into the street, and a fight begins. The two take down all the cops as Robbie continues snapping pictures. Meanwhile, Ben stops on the street to ask a homeless man if he knows where Carmody is. He's the man that hired Ben to follow Kat to that penthouse with the mayor. And he tells the man all of this for booze. Ben finds and questions Carmody. He tells him that he's a smut chaser. No one sent him. He tells Ben that Kat called the mayor for a meeting. Ben gets a tingle and looks out the window to see someone staking out the place in a car. He leaves through the back and goes to see Kat. He tells her that Silvermane hired him, so he has to take a break on Marco. She's not pleased. She wants to take Silvermane down for security. He can take all of this away from her. She warns Ben that working both cases is dangerous for both of them. As Ben leaves, Winston is arriving. They have words, and Winston swears he'll find the rat, and Silvermane will reward him. Ben offers to give him the info first for a price. Winston begrudgingly agrees and hands over some cash. Cash marked the same way Silvermane and Kat's money is. At the office, Robbie tells Ben and Janet about the fight. He wants to use Ben's darkroom to develop the photos. Janet says that they were indeed all POWs. Ben takes Robbie into the darkroom and tells him that he suspects that Kat is actually Silvermane's rat. He doesn't want her killed. He needs the room number for Vera Addison. He has a plan. At the hotel, Vera is not interested in giving up who hired her husband, even if she's in danger. He knows it was Kat. Vera tries to get him to pay $1,000, but at first he says no. She threatens to ring Silvermane and tell him herself, but Ben stops her. He'll find a way to get her the money. Next, Ben visits Silvermane at his penthouse. They have a veiled conversation about what each other has and how hard they'll fight for what they've got. Ben tells him whoever the rat is, Silvermane can't be emotional about it. Silvermane says they'll still die. It doesn't matter. Find them. As Ben goes to leave, we see he's used webs to prevent the balcony door from latching closed. At the Bugle, Robbie tries to sell his story from the slums of Hooverville with men that have mysterious powers. The editor tells him to write it up, but it's going to be off the books. If he brings more like this, like when he brought in Stories of the Spider, then they'll talk about hiring him back on. Ben waits until night and then swings to Silvermane's penthouse. As Silvermane is sleeping, he breaks into the bedroom's wall safe and checks the marks on several bills. As he's closing the safe, the wind bangs open the door against the door frame, and Silvermane wakes up calling for his men. They search but find nothing. At Kat's penthouse, Marco shows up. The two kiss. She warns him about Silvermane and tells him that if he loves her, he'll leave with her right now without asking questions. He tells her to pack a bag and kisses her again, but pulls away quickly as he begins turning to sand once more. He can't turn it off. He says he was kidding himself to think that he could make a life with her and leaves after punching a hole in the wall. Back at his apartment, Ben has paid a kid to pretend to be him in the shadows for Silvermane's goons who are following him, and now he needs the boy to go to the alcove and keep an eye on Kat and report back to him where she goes. At the office, Robbie is upset because his article was changed to call Lonnie and Marco monsters instead of superheroes. Ben pays Vera her $1,000. She's seen packing through the window by Winston and the goons. Ben calls Kat to meet, tells her to stay put. On his way out of the phone booth, 2 of the mayor's men are there. The mayor wants to meet. The mayor wants to connect with the spider. Ben used to get photos of him. He must know where he is. Crime is out of control. He mentions Silvermane, but Ben points out that he funded the mayor's first campaign. Outside, the boy tells Ben that Kat left for the train station about 10 minutes ago. He hops into a cab and meets her at the platform. He lays out his suspicion that she met Addison through Marco and had him set the fire. She tipped off the feds on the booze. She's the rat, but he doesn't know why. Kat says she's tired of being made to be in the middle of men's games. Winston shows up and thinks they are working together and takes him to Silvermane. They stop off the road in a clearing somewhere, a freshly dug grave, and Silvermane with his goons. They have Vera, and she swears Kat paid Addison $1,000 to burn down the house. Kat says it's not true, and Ben asks for proof. Vera pulls a stack of bills from her purse, and Silvermane examines the bills. He tells Winston he marks all of his bills, different locations for each person on his payroll. These bills have Winston's mark on them. They're the ones that the spider took from his safe. Ben says only money tells the truth to Silvermane, and then Vera blurts out that Winston hired her and threatened to kill her if she said otherwise. As Winston starts threatening her, Silvermane shoots Winston in the gut and he falls into the grave. He asks Ben if he's good with a shovel. They need a second grave, and pulls the trigger again. We move on to episode 4 from here, and we open on Kat singing at the alcove. Ben and Silvermane sit at a nearby table. Silvermane is trying to recruit Ben into his organization after shooting Winston's partner Gio, the second shot. Ben is not interested, but Silvermane says it would be a shame to have to kill Kat, and then makes Ben stay and drink with him. The next morning, the mayor keeps calling the office, and Janet and Robbie are impatiently waiting. Ben stumbles in hungover and stops their torrent of questions, saying he needs breakfast. Robbie leaves to go and find Lonnie. Silvermane visits Kat. He wants to know why she was in the train station since Winston was a rat. Kat tells him she was afraid of him because he was unhinged. Ben wasn't with her. He was watching her and thought she was involved with Winston too, but figured out Winston was trying to frame her. Silvermane seems to buy this, and Kat says he should hire Ben, and he says that Ben is smart for not taking the offer that he made him last night, and leaves. Kat calls Janet to have Ben meet her. Ben is at the cinema watching Great Guy before he wanders home to sleep, but as soon as he lays down, the young boy he's hired comes knocking with the message from Kat. Silvermane gets stood up in the meantime at a meeting with the chief of police, McNamara, so he sends his goons to find him. Ben goes out and meets Kat. She wants to get their story straight and tells him what she told Silvermane. She wants to know why he's doing this. He wants the same thing from her. She says that they can't talk there, so she takes him to a club that she used to sing at. Silvermane tipped her heavily one night and offered her the alcove. He likes control. He even had her fiancé, Thomas, killed. Ben starts to put together that Kat wants Silvermane dead to keep Marco safe. Right as Kat is explaining that she paid Addison to burn down the house, Marco enters through a side door and watches and listens from the shadows. Ben concludes to her that Addison botched the first attempt, and then the spider, him, ruined the second attempt at the docks. Kat confirms this. Marco leaves quiet and furious. In Harlem, Robbie is asking questions of the Black community where Lonnie could be, claiming to be writing an article on Black soldiers. He gets a lead and follows a man to a warehouse where the man knocks and then leaves. Robbie approaches and knocks. Lonnie answers, his appearance still altered from the fight with the cops, and he's somewhat reptilian looking. Robbie swears that what they printed at the Bugle isn't what he wrote, and he wants to help. Ben and Kat take a cab to the alcove, but Kat tells him that she doesn't think that she can be alone, so Ben asks the driver to turn around. Back at Silvermane's penthouse, Marco shows up saying that he had to lay low for a while after the fight with the cops. Silvermane tells him about Winston being a rat, and he tells Marco that he's always been loyal. They'll take care of each other and get the mayor in line. At Ben's office, Robbie is trying to get Lonnie to talk about himself, but he's all buttoned up. Janet pulls out a deck of cards, and they start playing. Ben takes Kat to his apartment. They have a drink. He tells her about Ruby. He took a job and put a man away for 5 years, and when he got out, he took revenge by killing her. He saved Kat so he wouldn't feel worse than he already does, alone. Back at the office, Lonnie has started to open up to Janet and Robbie. Robbie tells him that his oldest brother was a POW, and Lonnie says that he was too. He gets quiet, and Robbie asks what they did to him. We cut away back to Silvermane. He's found the police chief with the mayor having dinner. Everyone at the table leaves but these two, and Silvermane proceeds to threaten the mayor because he put him in that seat. He decides who sits in the mayor's seat every 4 years. The chief is very nervous, but the mayor tells Silvermane he had a nice run, but he's done. In comes Marco, who walks forward and smashes the table in half, but the mayor says he's not backing down. Silvermane gets up and says, "May the best man win," and leaves. At the apartment, Ben asks Kat where she was going at the train station. She says maybe Santorini, lead a cozy, boring life. They make eyes at each other and almost kiss when the radio breaks news about a superpowered person in the Diamond District and to stay indoors. Kat goes to leave. She knows it's Marco, and Ben stays. It's not his problem. She leaves, calling him a coward. But Ben immediately calls the office and tells Robbie to grab his camera and go to the Diamond District right now before he hangs up, suits up, and swings himself over there. He tells the person that's running from him to stop, but it's not Marco. The man recognizes him as a spider and is excited to fight him, dropping the bags that he had. This superpowered person has lightning, and they fight. Robbie gets there just in time to snap photos, and Kat arrives to watch. Ben gets electrocuted a couple of times, and this new man gets to a breaker box and absorbs all the electricity on the block, turning everything dark. The two fight some more. The mayor is stuck in traffic, and he gets out to walk to see what's going on. The spider is still fighting, and the other man is losing energy very quickly, so the spider easily knocks him out just as the mayor arrives to shake his hand as Robbie snaps more photos. The mayor announces that he and the spider have teamed up to save the day as the growing crowd cheers. Back at his apartment, Ben tries to relax in a chair, but someone is knocking at the door. It's Kat. She tells him it wasn't Marco and asks what happened to his face, to which he says that he walked into a door. She asks him to tell her that she's right, and Ben asks her about what before she intentionally falls back through an open window to plummet to the ground, but of course, he catches her with his web and pulls her up. She tells him, "It's nice to meet you, Mr. Spider," before they kiss. That's the end of episode 4. Elizabeth?
Yes, dear.
What did you think of these 2 episodes?
Oh, these are really good episodes. These are really, really solid entries into the canon. Ben is playing a very dangerous game. I don't think he realizes that Kat is a femme fatale and will lead him to his doom. I am so invested in what's going on with Lonnie and with Marco, and I want to know more. Like I'm heavily invested in this show at this point. I cannot believe we're only doing 2 episodes a week because I want to just barrel through it and watch the whole thing and discuss it. But I'm taking my time. It's like I'm just eating a little bit at a time.
Yeah. It's weird, right? To like go back to like the system that we had before streaming was available, and like you have to wait a week to watch something.
Yeah.
The impatience, it's infuriating.
It is. I watched these 2 episodes in color.
Oh, okay.
Because I wanted to see it. And the colors, everything is so saturated and poppy. It looks like a comic book. The walls are all painted. There's not a beige wall to be found in the entire universe. The colors are bright and they really stand out. They really pop. It looks amazing. I will probably switch back to black and white for the rest of the series.
Mm-hmm.
But it was really interesting to watch it in color and to see like, oh, that's all right. That was a choice,
Yeah.
What did you think of these episodes?
I thought they were really good. I think that they, like timing wise, the pace picked up perfectly.
Yeah.
From the end of episode 2. Episode 3 was a nice little cliffhanger because you don't know who got shot. And at the beginning of episode 4, you don't know if this is like a previously on situation, but it's not. Like you get to see like while they're talking and she's singing a beautiful, beautiful cover of something, the little montage of at the gravesite when they killed the previous night. And it's so smooth.
Yeah.
It's so smooth. Everything is so smooth. And it was really interesting and very clever how they wrote the money marking aspect of it. Very, very clever to find out that, he does mark all of his bills, but he marks them all in different spots. And you don't really know what he's looking for at Silvermane's house when he breaks into the safe, when he's looking at all of the bills. You don't really know why he's doing that. Like, it's stacked with cash, and he takes a very, like, small handful of bills. And then you find out that he took ones that specifically were not marked so that he could mark them with Winston's mark and give them to Vera. Was just so clever. So clever. I'm really enjoying this series, like, way more. Like, I thought it was going to be good. Don't get me wrong. I thought it was going to be good. I thought it was going to be fun. I did not expect it to be as deep as it is.
Yeah.
They have, in 4 episodes, built an incredibly intricate world.
Yeah.
And they've done it very well. This is not sloppy. This is very well held together.
There is a great scene after he fights the lightning guy, where he goes back to his apartment and he sets his bag down and he's trying to get comfortable in his chair, and he's doing these weird stretches with his arms and his legs and his body, and he's moving, and he's adapting. Like, I'm watching it going, he's a spider. He's doing the movements that a spider would do when it gets comfortable in its web. Like, he is moving. The physicality of this role for him is just, we haven't seen anything like this since probably Vampire's Kiss.
You're probably right. Yeah, you're probably right. I really enjoyed the different characters that he put on in these 2 episodes.
Yeah.
He goes to the cinema when he is very hungover and watches Great Guy so that he can, like, start impersonating Cagney.
Yeah.
And then, like, he talks to people like that. He goes to the hospital and, like, impersonates a police detective with throwing a voice. He does it so well. I feel like he's finally been given the kind of, like, creative range that I think that he's always wanted.
Yeah.
Like, it's a lot looser because you have more time to do things, which is wonderful. It's wonderful to see him in a role that's so enmeshed within a world where he's not just apart from it. Because I feel like, when you're talking about movies, for the most part, you have a protagonist, an antagonist, all that stuff going on. You have the people that are playing their parts. Everyone around them is kind of like backdrop. It's scenery. There's no, like, involvement there. And that's all you're following. You're following these people that are outside the general, like, population. And this show is not doing that. You're very much immersed in the city of New York and all of its different areas, the slums of Hooverville, Harlem, everything is so, and I mean, I don't know why would be surprised at that. They've done a really good job in, well, not Amazon, but just Marvel in general has done a really good job with TV shows and actually integrating the city as a character.
Yeah.
And this show has taken that model and it's continued to use it, and it's just running free with it. It's beautiful.
Yeah, you're right. Like, if you look at the Daredevil or Jessica Jones or Luke Cage shows, New York is very much, their areas of New York very specifically is a character in each independent show.
Yeah. And this show is doing something that those ones didn't, where it's pulling in multiple different locations. Like, we're seeing travel. Like, how many times is Robbie on the fucking subway to go to these different areas? His job is just boots on the ground. And like, you need that boots on the ground person. Like, I'm really appreciating all of the legwork that this show is doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been a fun ride. I can't wait until the next episode. I didn't think that I didn't think Kat was going to put together as quickly as she did that he's the spider. But it does make sense because she has been studying him for a few weeks now. I'm also really fucking enjoying Brendan Gleeson. I'm enjoying him so much.
Oh, yeah.
It's always a treat to see him, but, like, he's such a good bad guy. He's so, like, effectively just so bad. But, like, I don't know. This show is really good. The show has been very good. Yeah, I think that is going to do it for us. Otherwise, we're going to get into too many weeds here. But thank you again, everybody who has followed along with us on these episodes. We really appreciate you guys being here. And we really appreciate if you'd interact with this episode in any way. just like every week, tell you where we're at. We are on socials on Instagram at Not the Beast Pod. We're also on all of your podcasting apps and on YouTube. And if you're feeling generous, which we would certainly appreciate, we do have a Patreon at patreon.com/notthebees if you would like to kick us a few bucks for what we're doing here. But otherwise, that's going to be it for us this week. I've been Megs.
I've been Elizabeth.
And we'll talk to you next time, kids.